Hello, it's been a few days, but we're going to stitch out another of the freebies today. Let's see what we can do with this one. It's an endless design, so I'm going to show you how it links together with itself. Before I stitch it out, I just wanted to show you here the shape of this design, which is very important. I've actually stitched the outline alignment, the first set of outline alignment stitches onto the silk, just so that we can see that shape, and when we do the next one here, we can see how they nicely fit together. So I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to stitch out the design now, and this one is done in such a way that the flowers at the end stitch out last. So you must make sure, I've had to rotate this, so you must make sure that you've got it the right way round and that the flowers that stitch out last are here and not up here. Let's see whether I've got it right. Here you can see the completed embroidery, and these two flowers here have not been embroidered, and so we need to take this out of the hoop and move it down. And one thing I didn't say before we did this, it's often helpful to draw a line or mark your hoop so that you have a reference point so that you move things straight. If you use the special metal hoops with the magnets, then that's easier, but I want to do it here in my little 120 hoop. So what I will do is I will make a line now before I apply the next one. So we'll go over to my craft table and see how we get on. So here we are, we have the finished design, and you can see it a little bit clearer here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, is it possible to do a repair? Well, we can but try. Now, a repair, this is quite a large design within the hoop, and as you can see here, I've actually got two pieces that were left over from large embroideries, and I overlapped them, and so that the centre bit where the design was going to be stitched out was fine. So this is a fragmented hooping anyway, but we're going to try it just for fun. And what you actually do is, with a nice pair of sharp scissors, although I'm going to start, now I've got to lift this up because it's slightly tacky. I'm going to cut into here like that using my seam ripper, and then with a pair of scissors I'm going to cut out the design, not going, I'm just going to take the camera out a little bit. Right, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here, and hopefully I know what I'm doing. So I'm pulling the fabric forward to the red stitches here, and then I'm just cutting about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch. Now, before I pull that out, I'm going to mark with a pencil and my ruler I'm marking the hoop so that I have this line. Now that will pull out. There we are. People often do this process when they're using sticky stabiliser that you peel off the back, because that is expensive. I mean, I have a huge roll of stitch and tear, and I honestly don't need to be sparing, but I just want to show you what is possible. Sorry, I hadn't intended to do this. This came as an afterthought, so I wasn't prepared. Right, here's a piece of stitch and tear, and I'm going to give it a very good spray. And then I'm going to place it over that hole. Cut off the and I'm going to put another piece. We know that that area is where the design will stitch out. We've still got our markings with the pencil, so it's looking good for this experiment. Famous last words. Then I'm going to get another piece and just place that over the hole, because it's very important that the project is stabilised with 2 layers of stitch and tear. So we have a real mismatch there. I'm going to spray that, and that's where I made a mistake. What I should do at this point before I spray it, but I will anyway, and I'll just have to clean my needle, is I'm going to take this to the machine and do the red outline alignment stitches. I felt my needle, it didn't seem to be too tacky. So here we have the outline alignment stitches, and we have these marks each side. And here is our design that we've stitched out previously. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to, sometimes I remove some of the stabiliser, but I think we'll be all right. I'm not going to do it this time around, so I'm just going to give it another burst here. And I think I've cut myself a tiny bit short here. It'll only just squeeze on here. I should have used a wider. Now this is my Soline pen as opposed to, and I'm going to do a little blue mark there, a little mark there. Sometimes just actually making the indentation with the pencil is sufficient. So here is the flower. This is my new, I saw this on Facebook, and it's meant to, you can do things near the needle area and still be safe. So I just thought I'd show that to you, and I'll try and remember to put a link as to what it's called. All I can remember, it was something beginning with A. So what we've got to do is we've got to place this flower over here. And as I've shown you before, a pin test, there you can see, no, it's not quite. We know that pin is going through. When we lift it up, it's in the same place underneath. And we need to do exactly the same on the other side, because one point is not sufficient. Because if I lift this up and twist it, we know that's definitely not the right place. But that point is accurate, so we have to make at least one other place, position we need to align. This is why the Epic 2 has 2 points for positioning. And of course you can check it on the back. Perfect, not perfect. I'm going to take this off now, it's getting in the way. I hope you can see this. Right. That line between there and there are no folds. We look on the back and that's not too bad. So that's how you do a double positioning with 2 pins. And because we've sprayed this, we know if I'm going to bend them, lay them flat, so there we are, place it on my June Taylor. There's that line there, which is with that one. There's that green line comes down here, and there's the pencil mark under there. So this was just a scrap of silk, and I didn't measure it. I thought, oh, it'll fit on there. So and I did rotate this the correct way. My machine will only rotate in one direction, and it worked all right. So I can take these pins out now and take this back to the machine, and we stitch out. You could stitch out these red outline alignment stitches again, but I wouldn't. I'm just going to do the box to hold them in place, but I'll show you another little trick. Now, if you take your machine and go to where you can move it forward, I'm taking it back to the red. No, I'm taking it to the blue, and I'm moving it along, and we can see the box it's going to make. Now this is the important bit, that it comes down where these blue lines are. No, backwards. You can stop at any point and drop your needle in and see exactly where it's going to penetrate. Take it down a little bit further, drop it in. And that doesn't look too bad, does it? Now I'm going to take it over here and come up this one. Now we haven't got a line. Oh right, I've got to go right round. Now the blue box appears that it's in the right place. Now we're going to check on the red box. And down there isn't relevant, but it's up here that it's important that it's following the shape of that petal perfectly. Now when you drop your needle, you must lift it up again before you move the design. That's not bad, is it? Okay, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go back to the blue box, and I'm actually going to just stitch it out in white. It's perfectly placed between these 2 petals, so I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to go and stitch the remainder of the design, and obviously I'm not going to put another one down here, so this time I will complete the flowers at the bottom as well. And when I've done that, we'll come back and have a look at the result. Now here is the finished embroidery, and then you may think, oh dear, what on earth is this purple box around here? Well, I had a problem and I didn't notice it straight away. When you do a repair like this and you do your box of stitches around, it's a good idea to turn it over. As you can see, my box did not secure it to this bit here, so it was really sort of flapping around in the wind. And I tried to do, I would have had to have come out of the embroidery and gone back to the setup page to have done hooping round the hoop, but as my fabric was narrow, that wouldn't have been possible. But actually, when you look at this, considering all things, the reason I noticed it, because I noticed it was sort of proud in this area, but taping it down would have been a good idea on the back and front, taping it across there. And I've found that it doesn't hurt if the needle goes through the tape. I used these when I was making masks. I found so there's the tape, which is always another option to hold things in place. Now, well, we can take it out of the hoop as easy as pie. Now we need to remove these purple stitches. I'm not going to remove the red, but if you look here, look how those flowers are sitting inside the red outline alignment stitches that we created. And so it has done it perfectly, but I'm just going to quickly remove, oh dear, that's a mess. Just going to quickly remove these this box. Oops. There we are. And I think you'll agree that that is a perfect match, considering it was the stabiliser could have almost moved. Let's rip this off. Cut into the outline alignment stitches so I can go in. Nope, it has not done it. So I can go inside them. That's it, they're coming off now. The only time you have to be really careful with removing stabiliser on my designs is if they're all just running stitches, and if they're not been secured by other embroidery on the top of them. Oops. Wow, that's good. Let's just give it a little press, although I've not removed all the stitch and tear, and it's a little bit bulky, but it's always nice to press things so that the embroidery sits proud. And I think you'll agree that has stitched out perfectly despite what we've done. And I hope that little example of patching your stabiliser and how to use remnants and everything will come in handy for you when things don't quite go to plan, which we have to be flexible in embroidery. So I hope you've enjoyed that little tutorial on what I've done with this daily freebie, and until next time, happy embroidering, enjoy all these freebies, and if you don't know how to get them, then go to Graceful Embroidery and click on forum, and you can follow all the instructions and join us. The forum is open until October the 10th, and then it will close, and these designs will be available for sale later on in October. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think about my little escapade or my little adventure with my scraps of stabiliser. Happy embroidering. Bye.